writing at the first, yeah, it does, I think it does say contact, or the first available opportunity or something like that.
Whenever you're talking to somebody and they start to think that you might be representing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's
what
a
happened is,
conversation.
Scott and I ran into a business plan.
No, I was
And
on that,
it-
like nail on the head. I do that all the time. You think I'm weird. Okay, sorry.
Nail on the head, what do you mean? Go ahead.
When you hit the nail on the head, you touch your nose, maybe that's some
Oh,
old.
nail on the head.
Nail on the head, so it's like that.
I like that.
So now it's like, is there something on my nose? I'm like, no, never mind.
Okay, so Scott and I started a ground game and it went like this. David had a big escrow in Desert Ridge that fell out of escrow. $1,025,000. So I went to Scott and said, Scott, this is the model that the buyer wants. Let's pull all the expires for this model and start a ground game. So Scott and I went out and we door knocked these, right, Scott?
Yep.
Ran into 2 decent leads, now we're down to 1. We viewed their house the other night, and I gave them, now when this happens, and there's no listing agent involved, right? There's only a buyer's agent involved. That's why this form says unrepresented seller compensation agreement, because why would you take on dual agency? Right? And then, here's the real kicker. What percentage would you put in there when you bring this buyer and they procure a deal? What
At least
percentage?
4.
Nice, I like that now.
But who's paying the commission? The buyer?
No, the
Or
seller.
Okay.
That's why it's a compensation agreement.
Okay.
Unrepresented seller compensation agreement. This is in zip forms. Now, since then, because there's another agent in our office, Eric Nyquist, that has another buyer that might be interested in this house. So now, Scott, you're going to do the same form, except you're going to use these buyers' names, and you're going to follow up with the seller, and you're going to ask them when they're going to sign that.
Okay.
Now, hang on one second. Thank you for coming today, because this kills 2 birds in 1 stone. This is Eric Nyquist's buyer. So now we have 2. We need this one back signed that we handed them, and now we'll leave this one for Eric's buyer.
We left something with,
We did. That's another copy of it.
oh, okay.
But now, do I have that signed?
No, I thought they signed it, they just took it, didn't
They just took it. So now you're going to follow up with her and get it signed.
they? Okay.
And you're going to add one, you're going to say we have another one. And let her know that the buyers are probably going to want to see her house this weekend. I need
This
so.
same house?
Yep.
Okay.
David's buyers are going to want to see this house this weekend. And once you get that signed, you can call Eric and his buyers will probably come through that house.
Okay.
How do you do to have, like, you have a listing, the seller find the buyer? Can you have like, so you have now the buyer and the buyer from them? Can you have unrepresented buyer? Or you become, you have?
It all depends. You can, yes, you can just represent the seller,
Okay.
or you could do dual agency. But as long as it's disclosed, right? In the state of Arizona, we do know one thing for sure, and this is how you get your hands slapped really fast, right? You have to always start by representing somebody,
Yeah.
right? Agency is huge, right? So you start with an agency relationship with everyone. And it's a good idea when you have a buyer that you sit down with them in a buyer consultation arena, and you go over the buyer's advisory, right? You go over the purchase contract, and then you bring up the agency and say, hey, by the way, in the state of Arizona, there's a chance that you'll buy a RE/MAX Fine Properties listing. In that situation, you're in dual agency. Dual agency. There have been times where when you guys as licensed agents call me and I ask you who you represent, and there's a pause. And I'm like, okay, you're already up shit creek.
Yeah.
You can't even, and I'm like, or RE/MAX Excalibur, RE/MAX Fine Properties, and they think they're dual agent,
Yeah.
right? No.
Same company.
It's not the same company. It's not the same company.
franchise.
Different brokers, different licensing with
franchise.
Arizona.
Different.
franchise, yeah. Yeah, you know that because of the Sonics.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for coming. What's your goal today? Does anybody have a specific goal? Money,
Money.
Listings.
listings,
Knowledge.
knowledge.
How to sell a listing when
This is a sweet spot
No.
listings, I think. 'cause
when there's too much
people are
stuff in the home,
Yeah.
Wait, too much what?
you need to declutter,
Declutter?
and you know it's not easy to sell, I would say.
So this form is not for somebody that wants to list, is that right?
It could be. That is, it could lead to a listing appointment.
Where is that form? Is that part of?
It's part of zip forms.
Okay, it's on here,
Yeah,
okay.
no, it's not in there. So it could lead to a listing, right? But this is somebody that maybe wants to dabble right now. But I hear what you're saying. You would much rather have them just sign a listing and then go into dual agency. What's that?
Maybe a one-party listing?
So that's what that is basically.
Yeah, this is.
Yeah.
But there used to be a form, or maybe I was mistaken, that if you got a buyer, or you take the listing, a one-party listing to the seller, and fill out the form, and I guess it's the
Well,
same
you
thing.
could use an ER and then just say this ER,
Is for
exclusive
this
right,
buyer.
only applies to Natalie Raines. What's your husband's name, Natalie? Chris. Chris and Natalie Raines.
Okay.
And then if Natalie happened to be a commercial agent, you would want to put in there, Natalie Raines is also licensed with the, is a licensed agent in Arizona. All right,
But doesn't the ER imply agency?
the agency needs to be a separate writing.
Okay.
So no, it doesn't, no. Agency needs to be a separate written document. That's why there's an agency and a, yeah. So it does not imply, in fact, I don't think the exclusive right has anything in there about representation. Don't quote me on that, but I don't think so.
On the listing ER agreement? I don't think so.
Yep, all right. So I heard listings, I heard money,
An appointment.
and I heard staging. Okay. A lot of different ways you can get listings. Ton of
Or
them,
not.
right? So one is, did you say or not?
I said, you're not called.
Or not.
Or not.
So here's one of the ways that I get listings. So this is, I only have a couple of these. This is my newsletter that I've been doing for well over a decade.
Yeah, these are nice.
So we've been farming that area we've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in Desert Ridge. That's why, Natalie, when one of those expired comes up in Desert Ridge or Scott, you two are absolutely crazy for not going right to their door and door knocking as part of their RTT group.
Well, we thought about.
Who's
taking
we?
that- Natalie and I, taking that brochure and cutting your pictures out and putting ours in there.
Love it, love it. But what you want to do is,
Get me out.
hey, I
Put
don't
my
care.
picture in there.
You guys do, hey, but you got such, that's why Natalie always hits me on my team of saying, yeah, well, Del, you're calling the same people I'm calling. And I'm like, so? It's whoever gets the appointment. It's whoever catches them at the right time.
It really is chance.
It is chance. It's
But-
totally.
A lot of it.
He takes the
And
chance.
positioning.
He's hitting the ball like Michael Jordan. He scores the most points ever of an NBA player. He says, you wouldn't believe all the baskets I missed.
Oh,
I mean, how many times have we gone door knocking with,
zero.
and
Yeah, but when
how
you're
many
a-
calls have you made when you were at Coldwell Banker? I know how many times.
Listen,
you were.
and I've tried to tell you guys this, I fail way more than I succeed.
You have to fail in order to succeed.
You have to say,
Maybe
yeah.
Well, at
we
least
need
you're
to-
up to bat.
Right.
Just wondering, with the call, how many listings, what's the percentage of success do you have?
On my calls,
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Okay.
I would say, if I was guessing, maybe 15%.
Ooh, that's a good.
Very good, yeah.
Yeah, I would say in that ballpark, right?
Yeah.
But I'm working a full segment of leads, right? I'm working expireds, I'm working FSBOs, I'm working canceleds, I'm working my SOI, I'm working last night I was out at a charity event. You know, so I'm constantly massaging and working and pushing.
How are you organizing everything so you keep track? Do you
It's
just go
hard.
through- It is.
I wake up at
forget-
like 3 in the morning and say, oh fuck, I was supposed to call that guy. Happens all the time.
Yeah.
Yep, happens all the time. So that's where your CRM comes into play.
Right.
All right, but so the subject matter is listings, right?
This takes so long.
So here's the first thing I would say to you guys. Open houses lead to listings.
Right.
All right? There's tons of vacant open houses that you could sit every day, right? Most likely, the reason why that buyer walked into your open house is because they have a house to sell and they don't want to bother the agent that they're working with because they're not ready. Okay? But that lead, does that give you sitting in the open house an opportunity? Yeah. So be jubilant. Be inviting. Be different. Be attractive. Dress sharp. Use good, positive language and body positioning. Be confident. Exude confidence. Something that Bill Jennings said here, right? Exude confidence. Ask probing questions, right? You just don't sit in an open house with your legs crossed saying, you know, the bathroom's down the hall, right? You give them a brochure and you try to create some type of decision-making process so you can keep moving them in the right direction, right? But you have to be exciting, and at the end of the open house, you should be fucking exhausted, like the way Michael Jordan feels after a game. Does he give blood, sweat, and tears? All right? So how many days as a business owner do you go home and you felt like somebody beat the shit out of you?
Yeah.
Right? Like
Every
a
week.
Michael Spinks, right? That's an old, right?
Damn.
Like he, you know, his job was taking punches, right? That's part of our job. And there are times that I go home and I look at my neighbor, you know, we're usually taking in the trash or doing something, and I look at him because I can be real with a lot of my neighbors, and I say, man, I feel like somebody beat the shit out of me today. Because I do. I leave it all. All right, so listings, open houses is a great source. If you're not sitting in an open house, I have vacant open houses everywhere that are vacant right now.
Yeah.
One of the brokers that used to be a RE/MAX broker, part of his business strategy was only sit open houses until he found a buyer, then he took that buyer out, sold him an open house, and then he started right back at open houses. That's all he did. Christy Ryan, one of our top individuals, that's all she does is sit open houses, right? All right, so what else leads to listings?
Listings.
Listings lead to listings, absolutely. So, right, we've talked about, who said that?
Or not.
Yeah, who, Arna? Yeah, we talked about the neighborhood walk, right? Natalie and I are calling everybody in the Colino del Norte subdivision right now. Listings lead to listings, right? I just sold the house at 5017 East Sleepy Ranch Road. The new owners are the McAndersons. No, McAnderson? McAndrews. The sellers were Buddy and Karen Duckett. The house sold for $540, right? The best time to price another home is when we just sold a home, so I could probably tell you within 1% of what your home's retail value is. When can I look at it, right? If you can get that momentum. Yes, no, maybe. Then, do you have any other real estate products that you own that you need some help on? No. Then what's the other two questions?
Would you mind if I kept in touch with you?
No?
Oh, what's your email address? But.
Oh, love it.
Is anybody else in the neighborhood thinking about making a move?
Yes. Rumors in the neighborhood. Any rumors in the neighborhood? Rumblings, even better. And then there's a fourth one. So value, any other real estate holdings, rumblings in the neighborhood. There's a fourth one.
Kids are interested in selling their own.
Friends, family?
Any other property?
Did I say market value on their house?
Yeah.
No.
So value on their house.
We started with them.
Okay, value on their house. There's 4 though. Value on their house.
Other properties,
Other
rumblings.
properties.
Other properties. Rumblings.
Friends, family, coworkers.
Oh,
I don't know.
maybe. I don't know.
Your-
Anyway,
choose your
there's
neighbor,
usually
choose your
4.
neighbor.
But anyway, that's another, listings create listings, right? All right, so what's another way to get listings? SOI. Your SOI, sphere of influence, people you already know. Everybody that you know in real estate should at this stage know that you're in real estate. All your friends, family, even if they're in Florida and it's an uncle, you can refer their deal, right? You make a lot of money off of
I have a
referrals.
question about that.
Yeah, go for it.
So the deal I'm doing, in Missouri,
Missouri.
the deal, for my parents, the listing was not MLS yet. We agreed on 30% on the buy side, but he's double-sided, right? So I don't know what the.
You went to the listing agent
Yes,
direct. Well, you
yes.
need to ask him what the co-broker is.
Well, I'm asking him, and he's only telling me, he's like, well, Nicole, you're gonna get 25% of the sell side. The sell side's 3.5%.
Great.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
but
better than
it,
3.
right, but it's 3.5, it's 25% of 3.5 instead of 30% of 3.
It doesn't matter, the
Yeah.
numbers are about the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay,
So ask him the sales price and just do the math.
I know sales price,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's gotta
Don't,
be
don't,
pretty.
it's maybe $100 difference, but yeah.
Isn't like a referral like a point, almost like when you get done?
Could
Yeah,
Like
it
a
is, yeah.
500,000.
Or-
Well, I pushed for 30% instead of 25, and he was like,
Are
And then-
referral fees negotiated?
yeah.
What can you ask for?
He didn't really, he didn't really stick to what I said, but he's giving me referral on the sell side, which is kind of odd.
Good.
Whatever.
What did my text say?
You can't read, you can't see it.
Yes, Nicole, you can hold DC Ranch open.
Okay.
You could have just asked me.
Did you see
Well,
the thing
you're-
on, some NAR thing that this girl was doing an open house in
What's the address, can you just ask where the address is?
DC Ranch? Anyway, she had a guy come in, and the guy called his friends, and they came in. This was in Silverleaf, and pretty soon they had 7 people in there. And it was just this woman,
Right.
and they started taking pictures. 2 of them went upstairs, took pictures of every room. 2 of them went downstairs and took pictures of every room down there. 2 were out in the backyard, and 1 was in the front. And she didn't know where to go first or what to do. She said, I just stood in the middle of the house. And she said, finally, another guy came in that was looking, and he said, hey, what are all these people doing? He said, are you guys buying this place or what? So they all picked up and left. And that was it. That was the end of the story. And she'll never hear from them again, but I think they were, casing the place.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
I mean, what do you do in a case like that when you said, oh, God, this house is great? Let me call my friends.
Was
If
it an
I were the
oc-
owner, I'd be really upset.
was it an occupied house?
Yeah.
So there is a way that you could put a sign on the front door. Once somebody comes in, lock the door and put, I'm currently with a client. Please wait, and I'll meet you at the door. Ring the doorbell so I know you're here, and then currently wait, so you're only touring one person through the house at the same time. That's one time. Or you do it with a buddy. So you have multiple people in there at the same time, right? All right, so SOI is big, right, for listings. How else can you get listings?
Just your marketing, your email marketing, your social media.
Yep,
Facebook.
yep.
Yeah, I'm serious, I got deals from those.
Oh, of course. So farming, advertising, direct
You know,
mail,
your partners sometimes, I mean, that's not,
Right,
not something to hang your hat on, but.
neighborhood walk, that's back up to here, right? Get involved with big companies. Employee Relocation Council is huge. right? I usually do about 3 or 4 of those a year. I got a guy coming in this weekend from Fiat Chrysler. He's only in the 450 range, but that was that came from, now, that's a buying side, but that came from a listing that I sold, right? So you're always massaging your current database in some digital form, reach out, parties, networking, that kind of stuff, right? How else do you get listings?
Your former clients,
Yep, that's, or friends,
right?
sorority sisters, clubs, golf,
Yep,
you name it, your networking.
Associations.
Homeowners association. Okay?
yeah.
Yep, big time. Homeowners association can be a great lead source. Who's got a listing in here now? All right, how'd you get the listing?
Sphere.
Sphere, how'd you get the listing?
Open house?
Open house? At Sphere.
Cold call and Facebook.
Okay, good.
All 3 were spheres.
Sphere.
Cold call.
Cold call.
Sphere.
Cold call off a listing like Neighborhood Walk or?
You from cold calls.
Yeah,
Really?
I know the one that we sold a while back. in
Open
Desert Ridge,
houses
yeah.
and
Desert
Sphere.
Ridge was one, yeah.
Yep,
And Sphere. No, it's three
And open houses and
yep. All of those are big. And the lists are endless. All right, now, staging. Arnaud, I'm going to talk to you real quick about staging. So I use a third-party source for staging, and I only do it after I get the listing.
Right.
Because you don't want to call somebody's baby ugly, right? If you call
Sometimes they
somebody's
stage it and they
baby
don't want to
ugly.
list it because they like the house now.
All right, here's a lead generation idea. Answer your phone.
No.
Hi, this is Del.
Cookie, anyone?
Hello?
no, thank you.
Yes, sure.
Sure.
Hello?
We got peanut butter and I got chocolate chip.
But I'll tell you guys, answer your phone has made me tons of money, right? The other thing is when you get a listing, you can get sign calls and pick up buyers, right?
And they sometimes have homes.
Yeah, sometimes they have homes to sell, right? So back to staging. Staging, I use a third party. So find a stager and let them be the bad guy, not you.
I'm getting my certification.
And you only do that after you got the listing. So you say, part of my services are, I'll bring a stager in here.
I did it myself. Then I say, because he was on the market last year, I bring it back. I say, one of the things is, you don't see your life in it. There's nothing. All the world is just picture. I say, you have to get rid of that.
Yeah.
So
You can do
after 2 months,
Yeah.
everything's going up. But after 2 months, so to me it's like, I expect. So we have a new listing next week. It's like for the last 2 months, people just come in and it's like a museum. So
Yeah, good. Did you sell it? Is it an escrow?
no, it's not sold.
No.
And that's a problem because there's stairs too. So
Okay, so keep in mind, there's 3 things that sell a house. If it doesn't have a condition problem, because you solved that, it
Yeah.
sounds like. Does it have a location problem?
no, it's my car, so it's good.
Doesn't back or side any busy streets,
No,
no
it's
power
perfect.
lines?
No.
Okay, then you're down to one thing.
Yeah, the price.
Price.
But we already dropped. And
Keep-
I keep dropping.
Keep dropping it. Have you had a second showing on it yet?
Never.
If you've never had a second showing, and of your last price drop, if you're about 3 weeks into it, 21 days, you drop it again. So I just took Tether down 25 grand. Did you see that?
Yep.
Yeah. And since then, I've gotten 3 showings on it, right? So price, and you got to tell people, right? Price is part of the marketing mix. Price, packaging, promotion. There's 5 P's of marketing: packaging, price, promotion, product. Product is part of it. The product. There it is, a 5th one. Yeah, no, there's 5. There's 5 P's in marketing. I have a sub-degree in marketing. There's 5.
Positioning.
Fucking good job, dude. What the fuck? You still my degree? You're right. It's positioning. Now, here's what positioning means. Positioning is kind of part of pricing. Did you know in a cereal aisle, the average consumer is 5'4" to 5'10", male to female, right? So what's the best positioning? Very good, Mark. I'm very proud of you. Part of positioning is if you're in the grocery business, you want your cereal to be at eye level. This is fascinating. Did you know Kellogg's pays to be at eye level?
So does Coke.
Yes.
If you look at it, where are all the generic brands?
On the bottom.
At the bottom! Because you're not doing this. You're doing this, right? So positioning, very good. Or do you have a marketing degree?
Yeah.
Good job.
University of Michigan.
Yeah.
There you go. Ann Arbor.
Go.
Yeah.
I used to
That's
work-
not.
That's, I think, the first time I've used my degree too.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, but Mark, in your listing presentation, you can tell people we fire on all 5 P's of marketing: price, positioning, package, promotion, and product. And the product means sometimes you repackage the product, right? You put on, it's part of packaging too, but you put, you recover it. Instead of blue, you use pink. Instead of, the NFL does that all the time when it's
Breast cancer.
breast cancer, yeah, and they put on the pink shoes, right? Okay, so, very important. Price is part of the marketing mix, so lower the price, and don't
And
look.
so we are already like way below what's the
If you're not
consensus.
getting second showings, you're still not there.
Yeah.
And then I believe in cancel and relist. Prepare your clients properly and go back to 0 agent days on market.
That's
It
90
does
days,
work.
right?
What's that?
That's, you gotta drop market 90 days?
No.
No.
You cancel and relist and go back to agent days on market. So I'll take
Exactly.
myself off at agent 1 and plug in Scott, Natalie, somebody on my team and switch
Got
it
it,
around.
okay.
All right. So, good job for you doing the staging. When I know that there's stuff to be done in staging, I don't bring up anything negative in the listing presentation. I let the stager come back on the backside and drill them about too much stuff on the counter. Paint that bold burgundy wall back to white. Switch out the appliances to stainless steel or that gunpowder that's big. That gunpowder color that's big right now. I let the stager do all that.
When do you tell the seller that you're gonna have a stager come over?
Usually when it's brought up or after the paperwork
Sometimes they
is.
don't want it though.
Yeah, but
Sometimes they
It's-
don't want to pay for it.
Well,
Well,
but
so-
sometimes they get
Is it
they want
expensive
the
for someone
stager.
just go
Works
and
it
do
out,
it?
though.
probably about $500. I absorb that on my side because they're gonna do my dirty work. You know, house smells. It smells like dogs, you need to get the dogs out of here. You know, quit wearing so much perfume. Don't use that scent, use this scent. Take the sunscreens off, open the blinds, turn on music,
You know what?
fire up the fireplace, yeah.
No, I did a home tour in Arcadia, all $1 million homes
Yeah.
the other day, and it was basic, clean the damn house.
Yeah.
The pet smell, it's too hot.
Yeah.
Put that dirty rag away. I mean, it's $1 million home. The hoses on that stuff. The backyard had cobwebs on the furniture. These little things really do
That's a little.
the buyer does not like that, and
Yeah.
it was just crazy to me that these $1 million homes had these issues. You know what I mean?
Use the word, a euphemism to staging is detailing the home.
But really, just the cleaning was the main problem.
Yeah, right, detail.
I couldn't believe
I
it.
mean, if you're bringing your car into trade, right? They put that
Right.
armor all on it, you know, they detail it.
Right.
Same thing.
And I mean, obviously, these homes have been on market for a while. They wouldn't be on the damn home tour, you know. So it's just,
Right.
I don't know. It just blew my mind. I don't know.
All right, so staging, I farm it out to answer your question. I'm good that you did that, and it's big, and yes, it counts. And don't forget about the 5 P's of marketing. Price is very important.
Product, price, promotion, place, and people.
What? No.
That's
No.
what it is.
Oh,
According to this.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, consumer might be. Well, that's not the 4 P's I learned back in 1963.
Oh, they changed it?
How do you handle if somebody says, all right, you're gonna have the stager come in, what can we expect that we're gonna have to spend? Do you just say, well, let's take a look at what the stager says, or do you have that conversation?
I usually say that, or it depends where I'm at in the paperwork signature. I can tell you that I'm extremely leery of saying too much before the paperwork is signed.
Yeah.
I'm all, yeah, that's great, wow, wonderful, terrific, let's do this, we're done, man, I'm excited. Then you start calling the baby ugly. Because that blue couch that they bought in the 60s, you know sucks, but you don't want to talk about it right now. Okay? Or the dog that's jumping on you, right? Do you want to meet new buyers at the front door and have Rufus jump on them? No. The other thing dogs do is they first thing, you know? I mean, get rid of
You
the
gotta
fucking
treat your
dog.
dog better.
Yeah. But you guys get my feeling, right? The other thing is, and you want to be careful because they have a barking dog. Yes, you want to put that on the back burner, but a barking dog, what's it telling you? If a buyer comes into a house and they got a barking dog in the backyard, what is the barking dog telling the buyer?
Get out.
Yes. Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Yeah, okay, I want to buy this fucking house. Get out! Get out! Right? It doesn't work. You got to get the dog out of there. So, but I put that on the back burner, and then I consult as we go because now I know I'm on the payroll. Right? I'm not going to give them too much information and not get the job and then have them implement my strategies. I give them just enough so that I exude confidence and they know I'm the guy and then hire me. Right? So you want to be
Dale,
careful.
I've got a listing 38 days, 12 showing, no offers at this point, and it's vacant.
Do you have any second showings? Have you had any second showings out of those 12? Go back to the 12 and see how many have placed their money in the market. So you would call Scott and say, hey Scott, you showed my house on 123 Easy Street. Have those buyers bought? Out of those 12, if 4 of them have bought, in my opinion, if they placed their money, meaning you had real consumers in there, you need to tell your seller that and say, look, out of those 12, 30% of those, if my math's right, 25% of those, 4, 8, 12, 33% of those. 33% of those have purchased, were overpriced.
Got it.
Yep.
Good.
So let's say they have the barking dog, the blue couch, those ugly appliances, and so you know it's gonna be a pretty high ticket to bring the home up to snuff. Do you give them the full list after the stager's gone there and say, this is what the stager said, this is like $40,000 worth of stuff, and I know you love your $150,000 house, but.
So I'll usually do a look, listen, feel, see how the first week goes, and continue to massage the account.
Okay.
So you don't want to give them overwhelming stuff right out of the gate because all they're going to think is you're negative Eddie
Yeah.
or negative Nancy. Is there a guy's name that begins with N? Negative
Nate.
Negative Nate.
Ned.
Negative Ned. Yeah. All right, so you want to be careful there. Now, who mentioned money?
You did.
No, I didn't.
No, wasn't it someone here?
It was you. Somebody.
I didn't say
It
that.
was
It was you, Natalie. All you think about is money. All right.
That's right.
All right, a lot of ways you can make money in real estate. Property management, rentals, consulting. You can charge retainer fee, buyer broker employment agreements. There's a lot of ways you can make money in real estate. So it just depends on referrals. Lots and lots of activity in that sector. So we probably in real estate, RE/MAX and my sphere really is only about half of real estate, right? Once you get your real estate license, right, you can sell graveyard plots, you can do property management, you can do timeshares, you can do new home sales. You can work for the railroad. We used to have a girl in here that used to work for the railroad. The railroad needs ingress, egress. She used to go out to the farmers and negotiate 30 acres so the railroad could come through, right? So there's all kinds of implementation once you have a real estate license in the state of Arizona. There's a lot of ways to make money. Commercial. You can talk about commercial real estate, right? Could you sell commercial real estate with your license? Yeah. Yeah, you can do it. I recommend you take a lot of CE classes, right? But is it the same license? There's no difference. There's no difference. They gotta take the same license we take, right? And then you can sell commercial real estate. Our E&O insurance allows you to sell commercial real estate. We don't advise it because remember, anytime you're out of your, what do they call it? Out of your,
Area of expertise.
that's it, area of expertise, you need to what? Disclose it. You gotta tell, hey Natalie, I wanna help you with your commercial needs, right? But you're my guinea pig, right? You wanna say that strategically so we don't lose them, but they might come back and say, Natalie, we trust you, we like you, we know what you want, we've done it before, we got you. And then you probably wanna make a little note on that. All right, so a lot of ways to make money in land.
Don't say that, so.
Land is huge. And they're unemotional. Land is a great source of money. Natalie, how often do you hear from your land listing?
Like never.
Yeah. How often do you hear
You
from...
talk about the owner.
Yeah. How often do you hear from your homeowners?
All the time,
All the time.
like every day.
Boy, guys, I'm telling you, land is a fucking gold mine.
You bet.
Nobody works it. Very low
One
people.
guy.
Yeah, a couple.
Yeah.
I can name them on
You only hire?
one hand.
Yeah.
I can name them on one hand. A couple of them are in our office, and they're an easy call. They pick up. They're unemotional about it because
They are.
did. Yeah, and they're like, yeah, sure, you can sell it. That's what I want. And you can pick up 10, 15 land listings pretty fast, and you'll never hear from them. They're incredible.
They want to hear from you when you've got something,
Yeah.
like a contract.
It's awesome. And you get a sign up. You get a couple sign calls. Yeah.
And you go what, with 1 year on the listing with them,
You,
at least?
term of the listing. So term of the listing can be how long you want it.
No, but I mean, is it feasible? Does it take longer to sell the land?
Could.
Depends on the parcel.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can take a land listing. You know, Darren and I sold a $1.8 million Silverleaf listing 2 years ago. Good chunk of change.
What percentage did?
6%. Yeah, so we made
I think they were
18.
charging 10. Has that changed?
They used to.
They used to?
Yeah, but can you still charge 10?
Absolutely.
All right.
That was the norm.
All right, I think we got through the money portion. Anything that you guys have experienced this week that you need some help on?
I kind of have something that's unique. Coming back from R4, I met a guy at the airport. Said he has a property in Oakland, California. Needs work, about 50 grand, 60 grand new roof. Small house, 2-1. Wants to sell that, cash it out in 5 days, and then buy another house here.
Cash it out in 5 days.
He wants a cash offer on it
Oh, cash offer.
from an investor.
Okay.
So normally I would contract the property myself, get under contract, but since we're under agency, I don't think that's safe. I just figure, okay, so I reached out to RE/MAX, tried to find 5 or 6 agents, and nobody stepped forward. So I'm trying to figure out what to do next.
Because he wants to buy something here.
Yeah, and it's his mother that lives in the house, and the reason he wants to cash it out is because she's gonna go back to Chicago for a week. He wants to close on it and bring her back to Arizona and buy a place in Levine. Smaller deal, but still kind of
Well,
interesting.
yeah, and almost a Hail Mary, right? Because
Oh, yeah.
it's an area that you're not licensed in.
Right.
You said Oakland, right?
Yes.
On a scale of 0 to 10, Nicole, rank that lead.
What lead?
The lead you just told me. Oakland.
I didn't think.
You weren't listening. Yeah, that's good. Thanks for being honest.
Well,
That's right.
the only thing I am is honest.
Alex, rank that lead.
And they,
You weren't listening either? What the fuck you guys doing?
I just want to make sure I.
Are you guys smoking pot? Is everybody here smoking? All right, raise your hand if you were listening. Okay, Scott.
You were listening and smoking pot?
Scott, what would you rank that lead?
a 4.
A 4? Yeah, I'd rank it a 2.
But I mean,
Well,
this
you
guy
gotta
to
work
sell
a
it,
little
you need to
harder.
move.
He said he has unrealistic expectations.
Tough expectations, cash deal. Listen,
But you
it's a
have to make
lead,
deal.
right?
Yeah.
If you don't do it, someone else will.
Yeah, but that's a hard piece, especially if you're not even getting any love from. Did you look at the nearest Remax location to the Oakland house?
Yes, and I sent to 5 agents and one of them responded. And I said in the referral, I'm looking for an agent who has cash buyers.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be tough.
I would call the owner of that the owner of the Remax franchise. So you can look on there on who the owner is and call the owner.
Okay.
Yeah, and work it. I mean, you should work everything to its
As an
exhaustion.
investor, I could contract it and then find my own cash buyer and assign that contract and have that.
Yeah,
just
you
as a
could, but
private deal.
then you're wearing multiple hats. You want to be careful.
That's why I think I don't wanna do that.
Yeah. How much is the house worth, you think?
500 is ARV after repair and
Wow,
remodel.
500,000?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
The 2-1 and Oakland's kicking, because everyone's coming down from
I
San
read that.
Francisco. So,
Well, I'm surprised another, like if I got a call from that, somebody who's looking at cash buyer in my sphere, 85255, 85050, 85050, 85054, I could connect that pretty fast.
yeah, if it was in San Diego, I would have had it done by now.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's just
so
kind of
I would continue to work it, but.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is this a naive question? Why couldn't you submit that to Open Door and /agents?
You could.
Yeah, I just did that.
Yeah.
Is that a good idea?
Yeah.
As an agent?
I don't
when
know
you
how
see-
I don't know how big they are in Oakland.
That's their station in San Francisco.
Yeah, they're big.
That's how I would think that
Yeah,
they're
you
familiar
could,
with
you
it.
could, how could you?
You go to Open Door /agents.
Yeah, the problem is you're
Yeah.
not licensed in California. So
Yeah.
you would
But
need
you're-
somebody from California.
But what you're saying is they'll get.
You're not representing anybody because you're not licensed there.
Okay.
So you wanna,
You have to find
if they were in Arizona,
So will you ask an estimate to Open Door when you have a listing, like they want to sell, but they don't know, I mean, like mine, they're ready to sell, but they don't want to lower the price, so to have a comps from them? They go like through Open Door and say,
You
guys,
could.
yeah?
yeah, you could get an immediate offer, sure. What price is that house?
Right now it's at 470.
417.
It's
Yeah.
better that you provide the immediate offer than they go find it
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did
That's
that. I had a
kind of what
couple that was wanting, they had a condo, a small 2-bedroom condo, wanted to buy a house. We ended up selling in my house for $450, but they were concerned about the condo because the outside needed paint. And, we gotta show this, it doesn't look its best. And then they had an issue with the HOA not having enough funds in the HOA, so it was just a nightmare. And I said, look, there's options for you. Have you ever heard of Open Door? And so they sold Open Door, got out of it, got into mine. Everybody was happy.
Right. Did you list it and bring it to Open Door? Did you tell them to
No,
go?
I brought it to Open Door.
Yeah, you brought, so you
Yeah.
got paid on
Yeah.
that. Yeah, good. That's the right way to do it.
I wasn't working against them, I was,
Yeah.
we have an
As
option.
as part of your presentation nowadays, you need to put in there immediate offers.
Yeah.
Especially if it's under
Absolutely.
417, yeah. Part of the verbiage that you should say is that, look, I got relationships with all the immediate offer companies.
Okay.
And I
that's
can
good to know.
represent your interests, so we can go retail, wholesale.
yeah, actually what I did is know your options. I've got investors that could buy it now, you don't have to do a thing, you're
Right.
out.
Yeah.
I've got Open Door, all the others.
Right.
Don't even,
Yes.
and the key to that was investors, not mentioning the company. names.
Exactly,
Right.
because once you mention the company, they leave, they call
Right.
them directly and say,
Right.
yeah, that was a
Right.
great suggestion, thanks a lot.
But if you have a listing, I mean, if you already signed the contract, you're good.
If you signed it, then it's different, then shop it to immediate offers, but just in you're exactly right. You don't wanna give any other brand names when you're the brand,
Yeah,
right? It's like IBM talking about Microsoft, it's like Microsoft talking about Google, it's like Google talking about, they don't do that, they talk about their brand. We should be the same way, we're the consultant, right? So you label that section in your interview process, immediate offers. So let's talk about immediate offers.
Yeah.
I have the sphere with every immediate offer company where I can bring an offer to you. So not only can we go retail, we can go wholesale at the same time. When this immediate offer comes in, you might not be interested, but then we have a bar to start shopping.
you know what was odd about that, Del? They were pretty close to retail. I think Open Door's trying to do some sales
It's
in
easy when
Arizona.
you're like Tesla and you don't need to make any money.
Tesla's in a whole world of shit. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that company, but,
Yeah.
but,
The iBuyers are getting close to retail because they ultimately wanna do the funding. It's all about mortgage.
No.
That's why they're doing this, and they're just
Zilla's
taking
gonna
that,
do
like,
it.
okay, we'll take a squeeze because they want that 30-year.
I know Zillow's, that's their philosophy.
oh, they wanna carry the notes?
But you guys, there's a lot of people, they might have received offers just through the mail randomly, but they don't trust those companies. So when if you don't mention the company, but you say, I'm gonna be there to
Right.
guide you
That's the
through
secret
this
right there.
transaction,
Right.
that's the part where you can go, all right, maybe I can do this a
I'm the
lot
expert,
quicker,
I'm
but
the
I'm
expert,
here
right.
with you.
Right. So I think I have that in, so here's I brought this today. I'm gonna add, I wanna make sure it's in here as part of I'm gonna add it right here, immediate offers, because I know I talk about that, but I wanna make sure it's on my agenda.
There you go.
Immediate offer companies.
But you're right, Robbie, you don't mention any names.
Oh, hell no.
No, why would you?
Yeah.
I can guarantee you, other companies aren't mentioning our names.
Come on.
Why, if you walk in a Ford dealership, do you think they're talking about Mazda? I mean, all right.
Okay, what are those?
$1 million idea, answer your phone. Hi, this is Dell. Hey, Janet, good.
They promise you.
Okay.
Redford, Detroit.
You know, I know, what's the price of that?
Yeah, travel around, but that one out there.
735 on 190. I do not, because I'm not, did you use showing time or talk to veterans directly?
Lack of communication.
Yeah, and you got the confirmation.
I don't know.
Let me look it up and I'll call you back.
It was my neighbor.
Hey Natalie, call Emily and ask who's the listing agent that we have on 109th, or Scott, look at your computer and tell me who the listing agent is on 109th,
Pickup truck, we drive to the
on
site.
19th. She's running early,
Just look up.
7:35.
735.
Yeah, 735,000, 1051. Okay,
One thing Dell was really important, with one of the things that Fidelity does is they have, you know, the investors that you could put in a request to purchase.
yeah,
And what it was too far out of their scope, they thought, because they go out to a lot of investors, you do that little online thing. But what was great was, I lowered the price, but then they got back and they said, hey, Nicole, we can't come close to what your listing price is, but this is what our investors said. And it really helped me forward it
yeah.
to my seller.
Yeah, it's
and
like
go, dude, we're
feedback.
overpriced.
Yeah.
And it really helped me move the needle.
yeah.
And it was a third party that said, hey, dude, do, and it was great. Some even said pass,
Okay.
but like 4 or 5
Did you find
had,
it?
so it was good, it was just a good tool, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay,
yeah.
Sometimes they completely pass,
No,
or they'll
totally.
say yes.
So
What is
that-
that? What do you? how-
So they have a link, they have several investors that they work with, and it's a link
On Fidelity?
for Fidelity National Title, has a relationship with,
Okay. Gotcha.
with Venture.
Yeah, so it's the same thing.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah,
why
It's a
most,
great tool. It was
Okay.
really helpful.
Maybe I should try that with that one.
It was, but in one of my deals, they bought it, I had an offer 2 hours and they bought it cash.
that's
So
why
you just
most
never know.
people,
And they'll
And
pay
a
you
lot of agents
30%.
don't know about this,
What
it's
is it?
great. They have a deal with Venture and it's a link,
It's-
you go in, it's great. It's for only single family homes and there's certain requirements. but
Under
it's
half an
awesome.
acre?
No,
No. Built
just-
after, a minimum 3-bedroom, 1
Yeah.
bath, or 1.5 bath, built after 1960,
Yeah.
single family residence
Yeah.
only.
Yeah, and you just punch it
Give me
in,
your
it takes
card
2
and I'll send it.
seconds.
hey, the people on
Venture.
109
They
are
have a
agent
Venture.
called
It's a link.
Baker.
It's a link, that he can
Okay,
have it sent out.
I'll get it from Ross.
That's fine.
Fidelity National Title does.
Okay.
And
That's
it's.
it.
If you guys want the link to submit a property, just give me your card and I'll send it to you.
It's a great tool.
I don't have a card. So,
I'm just saying.
Sorry, that was for
It's an
Sam.
awesome tool. It didn't work with my
Digital
last
card.
seller,
What?
but,
oh, because people like this.
Well, I
but it was a
Yeah.
great
I don't have a
tool to
card.
get my seller the lowest price.
Oh, yeah, get
But you
the,
have your
yeah.
But again, it has to be under 300,000 with
You have your
remodel,
contact
it
on
has to
They'll
be.
go up to
Send people
5
your
now.
eBay, yeah.
And here's another part of it, you guys, so, since we have a minute. they're gonna go, some properties they go to 3,
Okay,
or some investors, because they work with a variety
it
of
was,
investors.
it's a great tool.
So this one investor goes up to 3, but because Open Door stops at 5,
Right, okay,
hang on, let me back up. Anything under 3, they're going to put in a real estate investment trust, and they're going to rent that property out.
right,
So, good news with that is, if you find out where they're buying, you know that they'll buy in that neighborhood at a certain price, you can circle prospect those people and say, hey, I'm working with an investor, we're looking to get some more properties, they just purchased one in your neighborhood, you can work it that way. But then they also have another investor, real estate investment trust that is trying to pick up where Zillow, or where Open Door stops at 500,000, so they're picking up properties from 500 to 750, and they're reselling those.
All right, so I'm gonna try to, did everybody pick up one of these on the way in? Okay, this is to just help you save time. This is everything to take a residential listing. So if I walk in my office, I pick one of these up, and I know I have every document. Yeah, I know I have every document in order to take a listing.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's an advantage to me, right? I can prepare for a, don't say it.
What?
I can prepare for a listing appointment in less than 5 minutes,
Did you get that?
Yeah, go.
right? 5 minutes. I don't have to put everything in zip forms. I grab that, then I only need 3 actives, 3 under contract, 3 pendings, and 3 solds, right? That's the perfect market analysis. 3 actives, 3 under contract, 3 pendings, 3 solds, 12 properties, all within a 6-month window, like for like.
6 months.
6 months, like for like. And then I do everything I can to stay right on this script. Right? That's why you guys have this. I do everything I can to stay right on this script. I don't skip anything. Now, if I already have a relationship with them, I might go right into price if they're an SOI or that kind of stuff. But if I'm meeting them with the first time, it's important to tell them that we have 74 offices. We sell $5.4 billion a year of residential real estate. We sell a
That's
house.
an AZ, right?
What? B.
What's that?
5.4 billion
Billion
Billion. In Arizona.
Arizona, that's
Arizona.
yeah.
We sell a house every 30 seconds. We're in 122 countries. We have over 120,000 sales associates, and we're big. Our international headquarters is located in Denver. We're a public company. Our average agent sells 17 transactions a year. It's by #1 in the real estate industry by far, and we're good. I'm full-time. I'm all in on real estate. I wake up in the morning with real estate news, and I go to sleep with real estate news. I can tell you the interest rates. I can tell you if it's a buyer's market. I can tell you if it's a seller's market, right? People need to hear this. They need to know that you're the expert. I am a professional negotiator. There's not a negotiating trait that you can throw at me that I am not aware of or I haven't heard or experienced myself. People need to hear this on the listing
Need to
appointment,
be refreshed.
right? One of the first things I do when I'm negotiating a contract on behalf of the seller is I ask for non-refundable earnest money released to you prior to you moving out.
Do you have a price point for that? Or
Any price point. My first counteroffer will include non-refundable earnest money released to the seller. Always. And Nicole, tell them why.
Because
You weren't
of-
listening yet, were you?
I did, because it screwed me with, it worked out, but I wish I would've done it with my deal this week because, we may add, it was a problem with the VA loans, those are, and also my client's apartment flooded Tuesday, closed yesterday. So
Oh,
if
no,
you
you know what?
had-
I didn't know it was a VA loan, so let's backtrack.
Yeah.
Can you ask for non-refundable earnest money on a VA loan?
Oh, you can, okay.
So I didn't know that.
I'm sorry, I'm talking about the 3-day possession, but that's, and I know Sandy is.
Now, can you do a post-possession on a VA loan?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't
Does
know
that protect your seller?
And it would have helped us because it was very stressful. His apartment's flooded. He's like, where do I live? And I'm like, and he's already upset. He's been upset the whole damn time. Oh, and I'm like, crap, if I would have done a 3-day post-possession, And they're not moving till next week, it would have been fine.
Right.
But, you know.
So negotiate that in. If you can't get
Yeah, I should've
non-refundable
done
earnest money, preferably you want non-refundable released earnest money and a post-possession.
Right.
Shebang, right? And there are some buyer's agents that will give it to you and some that will negotiate against it.
And, yeah,
All right, so tell me, today's Thursday, all right? Tell Mark, what are you doing this weekend for money, listings?
This weekend I'm doing open house. Last weekend I brought in, I think, 7 buyers that I think are pretty positive. All of them were at 650, so I figured that was like 6.
Are you getting names, numbers, and email addresses?
Names, numbers, email addresses. I'm texting them on the way out of the house.
Nice,
Phone,
thank you for coming into my open
Show them the
house,
open
giving them your
houses.
shared contact.
Flex MLS, hit them up with the Flex MLS first, thank you, and then I put them on a drip, buyer campaign all the way through. And I just showed,
awesome. Way to go.
thank you.
Bang, what's your hot open house right now?
Yours, Ron Ruka,
Ron Rico, vacant.
vacant,
You could be there right now.
could be. Yeah.
What are you doing?
But they cleaned the carpets and they got everything, all that deep cleaning, it should've, yeah, that's all looking good now, so. But
Good,
there's been offers,
So
people have been offers,
yeah.
yeah. And I got someone looking for.
Ron Rico, Cape Creek.
I got somebody looking for a 950 in Desert Ridge, 5 beds,
Lots of those around.
1,000.
What do you think of
I have
urban-
shown the house I have on Maffeo, Maffeo.
What do you think about open houses on Good Friday,
Why not?
next Friday?
Why
Because
not?
everyone's out or they're out of town now.
I don't think that's a bad idea
People
at all.
aren't working,
I
right?
don't either.
I think any day that you're available, because remember, there's only 4 things, and the first thing is, four things that we do.
Lead
Prospect.
generation.
Lead
Lead
generate.
generation, so anytime you're lead generating, it's the same thing if you have a kid that's lost, right? Let's say you have a child that's lost. Always, education should be the first thing out of your mind. Go to a trade school, get back in school. Go to a trade school, get back in school. Go to a trade school, get back in school. It's the same thing as if you have a lead generation problem, right? Then lead generate every second of the day until your lead generation problem is solved, because you're never gonna get to the other 3 things. If you don't have any leads, you can't lead follow-up.
No.
And if you're not lead generating, you can't lead follow-up, you're never gonna get into negotiating and presenting. And that's where we get the big bucks, negotiating and presenting. And you're never gonna get to level 3 and 4 unless you
Yeah.
do 1 and 2.
Yeah.
It's the never-ending fight.
So-
And that's what most coaches don't do, is they don't push lead generation as hard. It is everything is about lead generation and listing appointments. So Scott, Natalie, I want listing appointments.
So
And,
we never.
and your goal should be 1 a week. Yeah,
I guess we never.
and everybody in here
The
should be 1 a week.
non-refundable earnest money never answered why we do that. You never answered that question.
Okay, the
Well,
reason why
It's
we,
because, well, I know why, but
why?
because you want to protect the seller in
Yep.
case that the buyers back out.
But- And how are you, the reason why you're protecting the seller, or how are you protecting the seller with the way the contract is written?
Oh, you do 20 days in, 20 to 21 days in.
Right,
You make
but-
the earnest money hard.
That's correct, but the reason, the why is, look, I keep all these pins. The why is because close of escrow, day of possession, and the day they get their money in the state of Arizona are all the same day. So, they will vacate before they get their money. They will possess the second the deal closes, and they still don't have their money because the title company still has it. And they're homeless. I mean, they're out there. Sellers are taking a big risk in today's market. The contract is totally favored buyers, right? So that's why when the loan docs, that's why it says the loan docs arrive 3 days, closing documents arrive 3 days prior to close of escrow. That's why that's in there. Because when it doesn't arrive, when you represent the seller, the first thing you have to do when they don't arrive is what?
Sure.
Cure them. That's why it's there. And then what happens with this is why you got to stay on your sellers. What happens if they decide to move a week out? You know what? It's closing at the end of the month. It's the 23rd. I only have weekends off. I'm moving out. So you call them on the 24th. Let's say that's a Sunday. Natalie, how you doing? Oh, the house is vacant. I moved out.
The deal's closing.
You better say, oh shit, why did you do that? So that's why when I sign a deal with my sellers, I tell them, don't make a move without my knowing so that I can guide you properly. Because if they move out 7 days prior and then the deal doesn't happen, right, who are they calling? And if you only have to tell a seller one time that it says, oh, no, yeah, you're going to be moving back in.
Yeah.
And good luck keeping your job. Because you got to heal a whole lot of hurt from that seller. So non-refundable release to them, post-possession are big on my platform. And full circle, I bring that up during the listing presentation.
Okay.
I show them the purchase contract and say, listen, not only am I going to protect your interest, but I'm going to change the contract for your favor. And most listing agents don't bring that up in the listing presentation.
You get any pushback on that?
From who?
The buyer?
All the time.
How do you address that?
I'm saying my goal is to protect my seller, and even if you went to buy a $50,000 car that you order, you're leaving a non-refundable payment with the car dealership. So why isn't housing that way? So I explain it in different areas, you know, that.
And that's, I was gonna add to that, is if you can tell it with a story instead of just
Yeah.
give that.
Yeah.
Because then if they don't remember, you can go, remember I talked about
Yeah.
George and
Stories
Sue
are
got
powerful.
screwed when they did that?
Stories are always powerful.
So.
Have you ever had one,
Line.
Dylan? They said, no way, I'm not. doing
Oh,
that."
yeah.
And well, how do you handle that?
Well, oh, no way am I, then I explain my seller the risks, and then I remind the buyer's agent, okay, listen to me. We're gonna push them for a post-possession. My seller wants 7 days post-possession. We're gonna close on a Monday. We'll give you possession Saturday at 5 p.m. So that's my second phase, right? If you don't want non-refundable, let's go post-possession. If you can't get either one of those, then I say that close of escrow is a material fact to the seller, and that your loan docs need to be there 3 days prior to close of escrow. So a material fact is a strong word. It's a legal term, and close of escrow is a material fact to my seller. You need to be on time. Then the reason why you file the cure is then you got the upper hand. Let's say you didn't get non-refundable earnest when you file the cure, they know they're going to be late. Then you can bring up, okay, if you know you're going to close, here's the cure, release the earnest money.
There you go.
Yeah, so there's all kinds of things you can do at that stage, but the cures need to be filed. I'm going to share one last thing with you. I was listening to podcasts. I thought this was really powerful. Who wants to be my buyer of a house that I'm getting ready to close on tomorrow? So I represent the buyer, and this is a call that I'm putting into my buyer because they're going to own a house tomorrow. Who wants to be that buyer with me? I'm the buyer's agent. Okay. Hey, we close tomorrow.
Great.
Congratulations.
Sounds good.
Part of the American dream. I'm really proud of you. I'm really happy that we're
Proud
doing
of you.
this.
Thank you for helping me.
You bet. So I want to share an insight with you. Tomorrow at somewhere around 9, 10 o'clock, you're gonna own the house. And I want to tell you something that comes up occasionally. The home inspector did a great job. The guy is really solid. You do have a home warranty company on your house, so the first call you should make if any repairs is to home warranty. Even if it's not covered, try to see if it's covered, right? Do you have that number? All right. Everybody did an outstanding job. But as of tomorrow at 9 a.m., you're going to own a house, and something might break. I don't know what it is. Everybody did an outstanding job. Everybody in our camp is good and very experienced. If something does break, I can assure you, I don't believe the seller hid anything from you. I certainly didn't, and I know the inspector did a great job. It's just the fact that you happen to own the house at 10 a.m. and something broke the next day at noon. It's just something's going to break occasionally. There's no fault of anybody involved. It just happens. So I wanted to share that with you, that you have the home warranty company.
Right.
I'm always here to help you, but as of tomorrow, you own the home.
Okay.
So I just wanted to make sure that you knew that occasionally just, the sprinkler head comes off, somebody hit the mower, or, a bird wrecks into your window, or a golf ball comes through your window, or, just stuff happens.
Hot water heater.
Hot water heater breaks, it's gonna break one of the days of 365 days a year. It just happens that it broke 24 hours after you bought it. So just be aware of that.
Oh, I completely am. You've
Yeah.
explained it very well. And